Did you know that 87% of Americans over 70 are unknowingly destroying their relationships with their adult children? A groundbreaking 2024 Harvard study followed 1,200 families for 5 years and discovered something shocking. The parents who thought they were being loving and supportive were actually training their children to disrespect them. If you're over 65 and feel like your kids don't value your opinion anymore, don't listen when you speak, or treat you like you're invisible, this isn't about them being ungrateful. According to Dr. Sarah Chun from Johns Hopkins Aging Institute, there are 5 specific behaviors that 9 out of 10 seniors do without realizing it. And each one sends a clear message to your children that says, you can treat me however you want. Today, I'm going to share what that Harvard research revealed, along with the exact protocol that helped 78% of participants regain their children's respect in just 30 days. I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but it could change everything about your relationship with your adult children. For the past 3 years, researchers at Harvard Medical School have been studying what they call the respect crisis in American families. What they found will shock you. The parents who were trying hardest to maintain close relationships were the ones losing the most respect. The good news? Once you understand these 5 fatal mistakes, you can reverse the damage faster than you think. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time your adult child asked for your advice and actually took it? When did they last call you just to hear your voice, not because they needed something? If you can't remember, you're not alone. And it's not your fault, but it is fixable. Fatal mistake 1. The invisible boundary syndrome. Meet Dorothy Williams from Scottsdale, Arizona. At 73, this retired nurse had raised 3 successful children who barely called anymore. When they did visit, they'd interrupt her mid-sentence, dismiss her concerns about their health, and even roll their eyes when she offered advice. Dorothy thought this was just how families were supposed to work after children grew up. She was wrong. Dr. Chen's research revealed that 91% of seniors suffer from what she calls invisible boundary syndrome. This is when you have boundaries in your mind, but you never communicate or enforce them. Your children can't see these invisible lines, so they keep crossing them. Dorothy's breakthrough came during week 2 of the Harvard protocol. Her daughter Rachel had just interrupted her for the 3rd time during dinner when Dorothy did something she'd never done before. She calmly said, "Rachel, I'm going to finish my thought, and then I'd love to hear yours." Rachel was stunned. She apologized immediately. Here's what Dorothy learned. Respect isn't earned through silence. It's earned through gentle, consistent enforcement of your worth. The Harvard researchers found that seniors who clearly communicated their boundaries saw a 73% improvement in respectful communication within 30 days. But here's the key. It's not about being harsh or demanding. It's about being clear. Try this tonight. Think of one behavior from your children that consistently makes you feel disrespected. Tomorrow, when it happens, calmly address it in the moment. Don't wait. Don't let it slide. Don't bring it up later. Address it immediately with kindness but firmness. Fatal mistake 2. The approval addiction trap. This next mistake is so common, the Harvard team named it after what they observed in 89% of their study participants. They called it the approval addiction trap, and it's destroying relationships across America. Carlos Mendez, a 68-year-old retired mechanic from Austin, Texas, fell into this trap without realizing it. After his wife passed, Carlos started saying yes to everything his 3 adult children asked. Drive 40 minutes to babysit with 2 hours notice? Yes. Cancel his doctor's appointment to help move furniture? Absolutely. Lend money he couldn't afford to lose? Of course. Carlos thought he was being a good father. His children thought he was desperate. The Harvard study revealed something that might surprise you. The more you chase your children's approval, the less they respect you. Dr. Chun explains it this way. When you consistently prioritize their needs over your own well-being, you're teaching them that your needs don't matter. And if your needs don't matter to you, why should they matter to them? The turning point for Carlos came when his daughter asked him to drive 3 hours to watch his grandson's soccer game on the same day he had a cardiology appointment he'd been waiting 2 months for. For the first time in 3 years, Carlos said no. His daughter was initially upset, but something shifted. Within 2 weeks, she started asking about his schedule before making requests. She began checking on his health. She started treating him like someone whose time and well-being mattered. The research shows that seniors who stopped overextending themselves saw their children's respect increase by 68% within 6 weeks. Here's your action step. Identify one area where you're consistently saying yes when you want to say no. This week, practice saying, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." This simple phrase gives you time to decide if the request aligns with your well-being and priorities. Fatal mistake 3. The historical reference error. Dr. Maria Rodriguez from the Mayo Clinic calls this the most damaging mistake she sees in her practice. It's when seniors constantly reference their past sacrifices to try to gain current respect. Eleanor Thompson, a 79-year-old grandmother from Portland, Oregon, fell into this pattern after feeling ignored at family gatherings. Every conversation seemed to include phrases like, "After everything I did for you," or "I sacrificed my career to raise you kids," or "Back when I was working 3 jobs." Eleanor thought she was reminding her children of her value. They heard something completely different. The Harvard research team discovered that children interpret these historical references as emotional manipulation, even when that's not the intention. Dr. Chen's data showed that parents who frequently mentioned past sacrifices were 4.2 times more likely to be seen as guilt-tripping by their adult children. Here's what Eleanor learned during the study. Your past sacrifices already earned you respect. They don't need to be mentioned to maintain it. In fact, mentioning them erodes the very respect they originally created. Eleanor's transformation began when she stopped looking backward and started building new reasons for respect. She enrolled in a painting class at the local community center, started a small herb garden, and began sharing stories about her current interests instead of past struggles. Within 1 month, her daughter Jennifer started calling more frequently. "Mom seems so much more interesting lately," Jennifer told the researchers. "I actually look forward to our conversations now." The study found that seniors who stopped referencing past sacrifices and started creating new achievements saw an 81% improvement in their children's engagement levels. Your action step. For the next 7 days, resist the urge to mention anything you did for your children in the past. Instead, share something new you're learning, doing, or thinking about. Watch how the dynamic of your conversations changes. Fatal mistake 4. The emergency availability complex. This mistake is quietly destroying the self-respect of millions of American seniors, and most don't even realize they're doing it. Robert Kim, a 71-year-old retired teacher from Denver, Colorado, had developed what the Harvard researchers call emergency availability complex. His phone was always on. He dropped everything whenever his children called. He rearranged his entire schedule around their last-minute requests. Robert believed this made him a good father. The research revealed it made him a doormat. Dr. Chen's team discovered that children respect parents who have their own lives and priorities. When you're always available, always accommodating, always flexible, you send a clear message: my time has no value. The breakthrough study followed 2 groups of seniors for 6 months. Group A maintained their emergency availability patterns. Group B implemented what researchers called structured availability, specific times when they were available for non-emergency calls and requests. The results were astounding. Group B saw their children's respect levels increase by 76%, while Group A saw a continued decline. Robert's transformation began when he established Robert hours, times when he was available for calls and visits, and times when he wasn't. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. became his children's window for non-emergency communication. Weekends required 24-hour advance notice for visits or favors. His son Michael was initially frustrated, but within 3 weeks, something remarkable happened. Michael started planning ahead. He began respecting Robert's schedule. Most importantly, he started asking about Robert's plans before making his own requests. "It's like Dad became a real person again," Michael told the researchers. "Before, it felt like he was just sitting around waiting for us to need something. Now I realize he has his own life, and I respect that." Your action step. Establish your own availability windows. Choose specific times when you're open for non-emergency calls and requests. Communicate these times to your children and stick to them. You'll be amazed how quickly they adapt and how much more they value the time you do give them. Fatal mistake 5. The life purpose vacuum. The final mistake might be the most critical one, and it's affecting 93% of American seniors according to the latest research from Stanford's Longevity Institute. Margaret Chen, a 75-year-old widow from Phoenix, fell into what researchers call the life purpose vacuum after her husband died. Her children became her entire world. She lived for their phone calls, their visits, their approval. Every conversation revolved around them, their problems, their successes. Margaret thought this showed how much she loved them. They felt suffocated. Dr. Jennifer Walsh from Stanford explains, children respect parents who have their own sense of purpose and fulfillment. When your entire identity revolves around being their parent, it creates an uncomfortable pressure on the relationship. The research team tracked 800 seniors for 18 months, measuring both their life satisfaction and their children's respect levels. The correlation was undeniable. Seniors with active, independent lives outside their children had significantly better relationships with their children. Margaret's transformation began when she joined a volunteer program at the Phoenix Zoo, helping with their conservation education. For the first time in 3 years, she had stories that weren't about her children or grandchildren. Something magical happened. Her daughter Lisa started asking about Margaret's work with the Endangered Species Program. Her son David became interested in her conservation efforts. They began seeing her as an interesting, accomplished woman, not just as mom. Within 4 months, Lisa was bringing friends to meet my mom, who works with the zoo's breeding program. David started bragging about his mother's environmental work to his colleagues. The Stanford research showed that seniors who developed new interests and purposes saw their children's respect increase by 89% within 6 months. But here's the most important finding. This wasn't about finding any hobby. It was about finding something that connected them to the larger world, something that gave them stories to tell and expertise to share. Your action step. This week, identify one cause, hobby, or interest that excites you but has nothing to do with your children or grandchildren. Take one concrete step toward getting involved. Could be volunteering, learning a new skill, joining a club, or starting a project. The key is that it's yours, it's meaningful, and it gives you something new to talk about. Conclusion. The 30-day Respect Reset Protocol. Here's what the Harvard research team wants every American senior to understand. Respect isn't something you demand from your children. It's something you inspire through the way you live your life. The 5 seniors I shared with you today, Dorothy, Carlos, Eleanor, Robert, and Margaret, all saw dramatic improvements in their relationships within 30 days of implementing these changes. They're not special cases. They're proof that it's never too late to reset the dynamic with your adult children. Let me give you the exact 30-day protocol that worked for 78% of the study participants. Week 1. Focus on fatal mistake 1. Practice setting and enforcing one small boundary each day. Start with something minor. Don't let anyone interrupt you. Ask people to put away phones during conversations, or simply finish your thoughts before others speak. Week 2. Address fatal mistake 2 and 3. Say no to one request that doesn't serve your well-being, and completely stop mentioning past sacrifices. If you catch yourself starting to say, "After everything I've done," pause and change the subject. Week 3. Implement fatal mistake 4 solution. Establish your availability windows and stick to them. Your children need to learn that your time has value. Week 4. Tackle fatal mistake 5. Take concrete steps toward building a life outside your children. Join something, learn something, or commit to something that's entirely yours. The Harvard team's most important finding was this: your children want to respect you. They're not trying to hurt you or dismiss you. They're simply responding to the signals you've been unconsciously sending. When you change those signals, when you start valuing yourself, setting boundaries, living independently, and pursuing your own interests, their respect naturally follows. Remember what Dr. Chen told every participant in the study. Respect is not about age. It's not about what you've done in the past. It's about how you carry yourself today. You have more control over this situation than you realize. Your children's behavior toward you isn't set in stone. It's a response to your behavior, and you can change it starting today. If you found this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more research-based insights on living your best life after 65. Your support helps us continue bringing you the latest findings from top institutions like Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and Stanford. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these 5 mistakes you recognize in your own life and which one you're going to work on first. Your insights help other viewers, and I read every single comment. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to reset the respect in your relationships. Your children are waiting for you to lead the way.